GameScoop is powered by Best Buy, where you can pre-order Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and can play it first at select stores.
Don't forget, we still have a $250 Best Buy gift card to give away. Stay tuned to find out how you can win this. But first, let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, I hate you. Remember, you can always reach us at gamescoop@ign.com, just like
Alireza Ateli.
Do you give him all the bad names to read?
They're not bad names.
No, I mean, okay, hold on, let me say, sorry, that came out really bad. Do you give him all the ones that you know he'll pronounce really badly?
I give him the ones that I cannot mispronounce, so rather than making me look like the...
Okay.
The dumb white American. It's the role I was born to play. Who wants a cheeseburger?
You do.
Our friend Ollie says, "Hi guys, I was wondering, what are some of your favorite, more obscure games from previous generations that you would love to see a sequel to or perhaps remade? Mine would have to be the Legacy of Kain series, Fear Effect, Legend of Dragoon, and Advent Rising."
Advent Rising, what was that?
Who the hell knows? There's a million.
It was the chair game, the first game that chair made.
The voice of God.
Thanks, God.
We're hearing reports.
That shit up.
We're hearing reports that Advent Rising was the first game Chair made.
Okay.
I thought that was like
at this point,
Undertale
though,
or
let's just hope that Chair will make a sequel to.
That's probably. Why do you keep asking for this? Shadow Complex 2 is not. That's not happening.
You don't think it'll happen?
They make so much money off Infinity Blade.
Yeah. Well, at some point, you're right. All right.
Anyway,
We'll buy the rights and we'll make it.
more obscure games from previous generations.
Ghost House.
That we.
What?
Yes! What do you mean no? It's got Dracula, it's got Mick, it's what you want.
Dracula and who?
Ghost
Mick.
House?
Who is he? The guy?
He's the kid you play as, you're walking through.
What the hell system was that?
That was
Sure, it
Sega
was a
Master
Sega
System.
Master System
Ghost
game.
House.
Yeah.
Greg being one of 4 people that owned this dumb
Levi
system.
Buchanan, call in right now. I know
They
you
will
can
never.
hear me.
They will never remake Ghost House.
If Sega wanted to make some money, they would.
No, they would. If they wanted to lose some money, they would.
You can reimagine it and be cool, and people would think it's a new
I
IP.
don't even know what
Is that
the
a
first-
really a serious
Yeah,
suggestion?
people who like the Master System like Ghost House.
So what is the Twitter premise of Ghost House?
140 characters? Let me write it. You talk to him and I'll write 140 characters about it.
My pick would be Killer 7. I don't know if
You want
anyone played
that?
that
You
game.
want a sequel to that, or you want that remade?
An HD remake would be awesome. Maybe something on 3DS or Wii U, something with a touchscreen, would work really well.
So you just want the same game?
Yeah, I would play it all over again in HD. But a sequel would be great.
Played that game for like 20 minutes and hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it.
I bought it on Matt Messina's recommendation.
It was hardcore back in the day.
Yeah, it's an 8. You know, it's nothing better, nothing worse, but
Yeah.
got the job done.
For me, it's 2 games. One is my favorite game of all time, which is called Outcast, which
You've mentioned this one before. This PC game.
came out at just the wrong time. It came out when 3D cards were coming out, and this game didn't use 3D cards. So everyone was all hot on like getting like a voodoo card back then, and so this game didn't use it, and you were just like, this is dumb. But the other one is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like, I want that sequel, and I still don't know that that's going to happen. Like, they've released teaser
We
videos,
saw that, yeah,
and
yeah,
they're like,
footage.
it might happen, but I think part of that was just to appease Marcel. Like, what's his name? What's his first name? I always forget the guy that
Michel
made
Ancel.
Yeah, Michel Ancel. Sorry,
Yeah.
Michel Ancel. I combined the two.
Marcel Wallace.
They put out Beyond Good and Evil, the HD edition, last
right.
year, probably as like to test the
the
waters.
waters.
Yeah,
Not
I
much
mean,
chatter
that's the
about
thing
it.
is people
Yeah.
is that it is. You may hear about that, like if you listen to GameScoop and you follow like gaming websites, you hear about Beyond Good and Evil all the time. But the game sold terribly. Like it
Yeah.
really was like a totally
Yeah.
under the radar
Yeah.
thing. Like I
But a-
remember,
but a
I used-
great game.
It was. I used to go to my local game store though, towards the end of the PS2 days, or not even the end. I guess like 2 years before the end, and I would just see copies of it for $2 just on
Yeah.
the counter. They just had stacks of them, and they're just like, here you go if you want it. We just need to get rid of it.
I've never played all the way through it. I started it on PS2.
I never
and
finished it either.
It was one of those things that for some reason didn't click for me. And I always,
Yeah.
when it was like HD came out, I was like, oh, totally, I'll play that. You know, I'll finally see what
The
cover
pacing's really weird. Like it kind of jumps into these stealth levels completely out of nowhere. Some of the boss fights are a little.
The payoff
Unbalanced.
throughout the story
Yeah.
is just in the world. I think is still just worth it. But
Yeah.
I will admit there are parts.
A lot
that
of
are
really
very
racist characters. in that
hard to
game,
get
too.
through. Yeah,
Racist characters?
oh yeah, like the rhinos are all just like stereotypically Jamaican.
They're these pot smoking Jamaican guys that work at the auto mechanic shop.
Yeah, Yeah.
and they fix your hovercraft or whatever.
Yeah.
There's this really Italian guy.
And you're like
You? It's you.
And you're
He's like, Mamma mia, Jade, taking a picture.
your AI guy. No, it's your AI guy that helps you out. He's like stereotypically like gay Mexican dude.
Really?
All the time. Yeah.
Whenever I played this game, that was not going through my head.
So
Sounds like just like that gay Mexican.
Do you have our?
Yeah, you ready for it?
This is
Do you
the
want me to read
premise
it?
of Ghost House.
In 140 characters, the premise, it would be more fleshed out, obviously, if I had more time. Ghost House stars Mick, the bad guy from Teen Wolf, as he basketballs his way through Dracula's crib, beating baddies and boning broads. And then I use 6 exclamation points to get it to 140.
I don't feel like that can really be that very accurate.
Wait, so to
For
clarify.
the remake.
Okay, that's.
Oh, that's
for
the
the
remake.
remake.
This is not the original.
But
Oh no, the
I was-
original, you're some
I was
kid
trying
named
to get
Mick.
you to set up the original.
Oh.
Because no one has ever played this game except
Oh,
you.
yeah,
sorry.
I thought
so you
it was
fight.
a pitch for the new
Thank
one.
you. All
You
right.
fight ghosts and vampires with a basketball in this game?
No. That was me getting it ready for this generation of
Then give you-
consoles.
So you're making it even more unsellable.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the original game, you were Mick, yeah, and you were locked in Ghost House. Dracula was there. I think there was some
To
mummies.
me, this
there was a
sounds like the
ghost.
next game from the Lollipop Chainsaw team. Like, it just does.
Yeah. Could be.
So
Levi Buchanan knows. It came on the little card. Remember how there was a cartridge you put on, and then there was a little card
no one knows
slot.
this because no one had those.
Sega Master System was the bomb.
Ghost House.
There was like one kid at school who had a Sega Master System.
He was the
And
coolest one,
No,
right?
he wished-
Everyone made fun
Yeah,
of
he
him.
wished he had an NES, like everybody else, like all the normal kids.
Yeah.
Those were the days when that was the best of the that's when now we always read the comments and we're like, why can't people just be like, oh great, PS3's got a great game, 360 got a great game, awesome. But those are the days, man. There was it was a gang war.
Okay, no. So those were the days when it was like Genesis versus Super Nintendo. Then you had valid arguments on both sides because both systems had exclusives.
Yeah,
they
both
had their good
were
things or
great
bad
systems.
things. There's blast
Master
processing.
System and NES.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that was
Ghost
not-
House. There you
that
go.
was
There's
not a
my
fight.
exclusive.
Master System versus NES was not an argument. Nobody was like, yo man, I was playing Mario 3 last night. What were you playing? Ghost House.
Honestly,
Get out of here.
honestly,
Get
as a
outta
child
here.
when the NES was out, I had no idea there was another gaming system.
No,
Yeah.
that's how most conversations went. I really like Nintendo. Oh, cool. I have a Sega Master System. What's that?
So the obscure game from a previous gen that I would like to have a sequel to or remade is Einhander.
What the hell's that?
It was a 2D side-scrolling shooter made by Square
Yep.
back when they were Squaresoft
Wow.
for the PS1, and it was amazing. One of the best shooters ever made. Really great bosses, great animation.
like a shmup?
Yeah, that's exactly
Really?
what it was. Yeah.
Never even
like
heard of
Like a Gradius.
Has it ever been re-released?
Give it to the
Really?
cinema
It's
artists.
something Square. It's a game Square made that they never re-released.
Yes.
Coming to iOS this fall.
Like, during a time when Square was experimenting with trying different genres other than RPGs.
Yeah.
And that was one of them, and it's fantastic. It was amazing.
It's fascinating to me that there's anything in their vaults that they haven't been like, well, we can milk a couple of more dollars out of this one. Just let it sit there.
I know. This is Scott Baker, or Super Bash Bro.
Nope. He's the baker.
Okay. He says, I find myself buying brand new games less often each year. Not because I don't think every game I want is worth $60, but because I can't afford to splurge $60 each month, $180 in the holiday months. Do you think there is an oversaturation of big games? Are there too many big games?
Like
if you look at-
over what, last year, the year before?
I think if you look
I
at the
think-
trend for game releases, I think there are less and less games being
Yeah,
released.
and I think
these
if any,
days.
I mean, it's not like you can't play a couple months down the road, anyways.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think there's too many games.
Yeah.
This all goes back to when we start getting into people who are pirating games because they feel like they're entitled to. Oh, well, there's all these games out. I have to play them. Well, you don't have to play them right there. You know what I mean? Like you're voting with your dollars. What premise? It should be what premise is the most interesting. What
I
game
mean,
do
could
wanna
you
play the
imagine
most
if only
right now?
12 games came out a year? That'd be dumb.
sucks,
Yeah.
I mean, we're in that time of year right now when all the big games do come out. I think it's always been like this,
Yeah.
but I think there are more and more, or there are less and less games overall being released, at least in retail. I think there's more and more digital games.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some advice that
Okay.
our friends at Sony one point put out. Get a second job.
That worked out well for
You
them.
will work harder.
That worked out well for them on that front.
For some context, that was when they announced the price of the PlayStation 3.
$599 US dollars.
Giant enemy crab.
That was a good day.
Oh my god. Never forget.
I will never forget. This is Ben Blythe. I liked your conversation about telling a story in games versus having a story told to you. We're talking about Walking Dead and Mass Effect, games like that,
Yeah.
rather following a linear story where you just absorb the story. I love collaborative storytelling, which is why games like Dungeons & Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, and Warhammer have always been so cool. Tabletop games allow you to make as many choices as you can imagine. Ever think about taking the plunge into D&D?
Get out of here, nerd!
Not D&D, but I do have like in my house probably right now. I'm gonna guess if at retail, yeah, it was like I have like $3,000 or more of Warhammer stuff. So most of it largely.
So if you're casing the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck ever reselling them though. That's the thing is you buy them for like a ton of money, and unless you're an amazing painter, you'll never sell them for that equal price.
We have some people at IGN that are into that stuff, like Mike Drucker. Loves Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, but I was gonna say,
To
but
me,
when was
it's
the last
like-
time Mike Drucker was like with his friends and he ordered like 14 pizzas and he's like, all right,
That's the
the
thing,
next
yeah.
14 hours we're gonna sit here and we're gonna work this battle out.
Oh.
I like Dungeons &
For the
Dragons.
next 14 hours, we're gonna eat a pizza an hour.
I like Dungeons & Dragons. It's probably been over 10 years since I've played those.
Really?
So, yeah.
There's still, I mean, here in San Francisco in the Bay Area, there's plenty of board game shops and stuff like that where you'll walk by 8 o'clock at night and there's just like 40 nerds in the back.
I was gonna say,
Sorry,
well,
that's
a good board,
they're all just playing.
We're
it.
all nerds.
a good tabletop shop will have a section, either a basement and upstairs or a back room that is all just dedicated to staying open after shop hours.
Yeah.
Because that's how they keep it. Because then those kids are there playing like, I need this, and then they just walk over and they buy it right there.
Yep.
So.
How often do you play Warhammer?
Sadly, only a few times a year now, but we're trying to start a tradition of me and all the friends I lived with in college where we have a Warhammer weekend where they all fly up to the Bay and we all dedicate a whole weekend to a tournament.
That'd be cool.
So that's what we do currently. So
You ever played Vampire?
no,
I haven't played Vampire. What's going on with Warhammer video games?
that's a good question.
There
You know,
was
it's always been weird because
what was the last one that came out?
Space Marines.
Space Marine, yeah.
And so, I mean, no doubt about it, there's going to be more RTS games that set in the future version of Warhammer. Yeah, that's Relic's done so well with those and made money on them that I can't imagine THQ is going to let that license go. The MMO they were supposedly making that was being made by Vigil, the guys who make Darksiders, that's been turned, they said that's no longer an MMO. But with like the recent departure of like Joe Madero from that studio and stuff, I can't imagine. Like, I'm curious if that game's just going to be out and out canceled. You know, that would be a really like the final death nail. I feel like for THQ if they lost that license because that's like one of their biggest money makers. Not as much here in the States, but abroad in like the European Union, it's massive.
This is Big Tony style.
Big Tony style.
Great name.
He asks, if a game is leaked early or reviews get posted before embargo dates, does this impact any embargoes IGN is under?
Case by case.
Yeah.
Sometimes a review will go up early because someone will break embargo, and we'll email the publisher and be like, "Hey, this went up. Can we post?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, screw it." Or other times they'll be like, "No, please don't. We're working everything we can to get that taken down."
Yeah, we would always check with the publisher. We wouldn't just say, well, they posted their review, so we'll post ours.
Yeah.
I know there's been times where like whole sections of games have been leaked to YouTube, and we're just like, well, our embargo is still the 15th. We're
Yeah.
gonna respect
I mean,
that. We're
this
not
just
gonna...
happened with Halo 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything,
exactly.
I'll say that street dates are people breaking street dates are what can change embargoes the most.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
people already have the game like illegally, but they bought it legitimately at a game store, all of a sudden they might be like, well, we're just going to push it up.
Yeah, I will say from like the content publishing perspective on our side, it's actually almost kind of disappointing every time we see one of our fellow outlets leak something early. Because we're like, come on, you know, we're all going to do this at 9 o'clock on the same day, and you guys had to pop the cherry a day early. Don't do it. But I mean, yeah, we respect it.
Always.
Yeah, or try to.
Yeah.
Greg doesn't.
No, I don't care. I'm a wild card. I'm posting my Uncharted 4 review tomorrow.
Greg, how do you think we pronounce this gentleman's name?
That's Sue Kiyokaham.
He says, I have a question for Damon. I know nothing about music. I've always wondered how the unique sound in dubstep songs is made. For lack of a better term, the wubs, what creates this noise? Is it done by a synthesizer or electronically? Yes.
Yes, both.
No, it's a guy sitting there playing an instrument.
It's a guy in a bathtub just blowing bubbles.
Yeah, it's all created with synthesizers. The bass sound, dubstep is characterized by having very moving bass sound. So it's not just a straight tone. It's not just like. Duh. There's it'll wub, it'll wobble, it'll like. So you're
modulate
you're
the
modulating various different parameters of the sound, usually in time with the music. So you get like a
Yeah, because if that goes differently with the drums, then it's a disaster. It's like jazz.
So, and you usually have that bass sound that you hear actually isn't the sub bass, the weight of the track, the oomph that you really hear. There's also like a sub bass that mirrors that like very mid-range bass sound that you hear that you don't really pay attention to, but that's what gives the song its power and it's like weight, to it. So there's usually those two. The dubstep is those sort of two bass lines running together in harmony. That's like a basic overview.
And that's how the sausage is made.
That's
That was
it.
good. That was a good breakdown.
Now you make all your music in Beaterator, right, on the PSP?
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved that game back.
Beaterator. Beaterator.
Oh no, PS2 one, the MTV Music Generator. That's
I use
the one
I use
was-
Mario
yeah.
Paint.
Well, Beaterator was the Rockstar one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I reviewed that one.
You did, yeah.
I've never used that one.
I never even played that game.
Before we go, we're gonna hand you over to Naomi. She's gonna tell you how you can win a $250 Best Buy gift card. Please, Naomi, be gentle with our dear GameScoop viewers and listeners.
Thanks, Damon. So here's how you can win the $250 gift card to Best Buy. We want to see the very best cat gift that you can find. Send it to us at gamescoop@ign.com. We'll pick one winner and notify them by email and then feature it here on the show. This giveaway is powered by Best Buy, where you can pre-order Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and can play it first at select stores. Good luck, everyone. Now back to you, Damon.
Thank you, Naomi. That's all the scoops we have for you this week. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great weekend. Remember, you can always reach us at gamescoop@ign.com, and we'll see you next week.